I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of backstory here. All right, can you see me, Elvis? We good?
Yep.
Even though I'm a little bit blurry. All right, guys. So I've got Elvis on. If you're just jumping on, welcome. Please drop your comments. Let us know you're on. This is spur of the moment. I specifically wanted to say just a couple of things really quick, and then we will just dive right in and get to the point. But the interesting thing about this is Elvis, dude, he was one of the first original people to join our free group that we're in right now. I think you might have been like one of the first, no shit, like the first 10. And anyway, I'm going to let you tell a little bit of your story here in a second, but just to kind of brief, he has been in the lead generation space. Like he's known about it. He's purchased courses. He's known how to generate a lead for just about 4 years now. Okay. And he's pretty much made no money up till this point. There's been some shiny object syndrome. There's been some there's been some like a little bit of self-doubt, all these different things. And he today, just so you guys know what we're going to talk about, is literally today, he just closed a deal, a flat fee deal, because that's all that we do in here. We don't do PPL. We don't do commission. Those don't even count as deals because they're so unpredictable. He closed a $5,400 per month flat fee deal. Dude, what's, I know that 60K times, it's like 64,800, 64,800, something like that.
Yeah, well, so it's 1325 per week.
Oh, so what does it end to be? So
yeah, 68.9.
69K.
Yeah.
Excellent. So in one day, guys, now granted, and we'll get into that in one day. If now he has to take care of the client. He does have this person under contract. He can't go shit the bed, but this is actually a website that he's had sitting there unrented. Like many of you guys have these properties that have been unrented for months and months, if not years. He just turned into between what is 3 times 3, like between $16,200 and $69,000 in one day. Okay, that's how much stuff can change in one single day. And that's the one thing I told you when you called me, is I was like, bro, isn't it interesting that like maybe a week ago when you thought about doing 100K in a month, it seemed so crazy. And now if you think about it, you only need like 17 or 18 of those deals you did today, and you're literally doing 100K a month, like big boy dollars, completely life-changing dollars. Like it's insane. Like it's mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have no doubt you're going to take care of this client. You don't even have to build the website. All you have to do is freaking like make sure it continues to rank and get your like GMB dialed, maybe, you know, add a couple of one pagers to like, you got a lot of budget to work with. Yeah. So even if you profit freaking, what is it? Like you profit 50% on that deal. That's still, I remember when we talked, I was like, how much do you need to make to survive? And we're going to get into that. You are like, your back is up against the wall, which I love, not because you're like all stressed out, but because you literally like, it shows you what we're capable of when we literally have a gun to our head, the stuff that we do. So guys, with no further ado, I just want to kind of paint a picture of what we're going to be talking about. This is incredible. This is literally, instead of like, I don't know, there's so many things we can dive into. So nice work, Elvis. Like, dude, you were a pain in the ass. He was one of those people that was like one of the first people in the free group, and he was always answering questions. And like my thought was, as soon as we have a paid group, he's going to be one of the first people in, right? Well, lo and behold, this bastard, he doesn't even like, not only does he not get in, but he doesn't even like hit me up. And I noticed one day, and I'm like, dude, like let's talk. And so we talked, and you had like, dude, there was some shit you went through and all this stuff, and anyway, you got in, and dude, here we are. So real quick, like kind of give us the rundown. So 2018 you joined and bought a program, learned how to generate a lead. From 2018 till today, give us the brief story of what the hell you've been doing for 4 years. Like go.
Yeah. So it was March 2018. I joined, and I like many people that joined that program, like dabbled a little bit, like built 1 site, 2 sites. and like neglected to do the SEO on them. And so it didn't really turn out as the way that I wanted to. Also at that time, I had met my girl at the time. So
Shout out to your girl. We don't even know your girl's name.
yeah, her name's Karina.
Karina.
Yeah.
What up? Time to get Karina on the phones.
Yeah, all right.
Shout out to Karina. Okay,
So
go ahead.
she's been the support beam to my my life for the last 4 years. But yeah, so I at the time I was working a sales job on the phones, doing setting appointments for car dealerships. And I left that job, went and worked for an insurance agency doing sales. Thought I was going to do great there. Freaking hated my life for like 4 months, and then I left that job and went into a pest control sales job. And like that was all. I felt like I was stuck in the sales world, because that's all I really ever. I was planning on joining the Marine Corps, but that didn't end up working out. So once I got in that sales job at the pest control place, I thought it was such a good gig. I was making like $50K a year. They had like a ping pong table. The boss didn't care if you were late. I'm living a good life. So I let that grip me for like probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, until last year. Well, actually December 2020, I kicked it in. I was drinking like 4 beers a night. I was getting a beer belly, and I was feeling like crap. So I finally kicked it into gear and started focusing on this. And so I was building out lead gen sites. I was taking part in the programs. I was doing what everybody I was telling. I was interviewing business owners. I was calling, prospecting for SEO deals. I was pitching website deals, the whole 9 yards. And so, yeah, I quit my job in July of last year to pursue this full time. And pretty much from then until now, I've had to, I sold a few websites. I made me like $4,000 on websites. I sold a bunch of crap. I donated plasma. I freaking delivered groceries, like everything that everybody does when you're like don't want to work for somebody else, but yet don't have the balls to go out and actually take the action that needs to be taken to get where you want to be. Until recently, in the last couple months, last month really, where my mindset changed, and everything kind of turned around.
So here's my question, and probably what everyone else is thinking is like, because you're a little bit unique because you have had sales experience.
Yeah.
So what do you think was holding you back from like getting deals? Because everyone typically thinks, oh, I don't have sales experience, so I can't get deals. You had sales experience, but you weren't getting them. Where do you think was happening? Like, was it self-doubt? Was it like, were you not sold on lead gen? I mean, what do you think it was?
No. I mean, honestly, I think having sales experience hinders you more, personally, because of the fact that, especially the sales that I was in, because I was in like B2C sales, so I was selling to consumers, and so I had to shift that entire mindset. Everything that I knew before. Like there was a couple of things, like your tone and stuff like that when it comes to sales. But I felt like I had to just retrain my brain in order to think the way it does now, and look at it in a different way. I also think that being on the phones for almost 5 years gave me a lot of call reluctancy. So like I talk on the phone all day, and I could be an all-star on the phone, but like I've trained my mind to think, oh, like I hate being on the phone. I hate talking to people. I hate being yelled at. I hate being cussed at, because it's happened so much. So yeah, I think it was really just, proving to myself that I was able to do it. And really it was the plan, having a plan and having a definite goal and having a purpose for that goal, that I've never had and never learned how to put a plan together. Like it's not that easy to put, something together that is going to take you from zero to, whatever it is that you want. So.
Yeah, dude. And it's crazy that how long ago would you say that you put together? And by the way, I could tell you're reading Think and Grow Rich just with the word choice, definite goal and all this stuff.
Yeah.
How long ago did you put together your definite plan because I know your goal in 2022, and now it doesn't seem that crazy. If you would have said this in the group, you probably would have felt like, oh, people are going to say whatever because I'm at nothing. But
Right.
your goal is to do 50K in 50K a month by the end of the year, which right now we're like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound that crazy because you just knocked down $5,400. But like,
Right.
when did you set, like, how many was that, like right before the year started that you set your definite goal of 50K?
Yeah, 50K. Yeah, I would say like December 30th, December 29th. Somewhere
Pretty
along.
wild, dude. 2 weeks later, like, you know how in that book it talks about, like, as soon as you set your definite goal and you have that desire, then the whole freaking universe opens up. Like, dude, now granted, you didn't just wake your ass up, lay in bed, and it just dropped in your lap. You put in work.
Yeah.
But like in that amount of time, you have this specific target, the specific definite purpose. And in 2 weeks, you're already you're over a tenth of the way to a goal that, well, let's say 1% of the 1% in this industry achieve. Like, that's fat, dude. 50K a month is no small feat.
Yeah, it's insane just to even think about it. I'm like, I'm sure there, like, yeah, there's doctors that don't even make that amount, or like people that are very, very much more skilled than I am and knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, guys. So if you guys have not read Think and Grow Rich, I do not make money from saying this, but that is literally the Bible of money. And I know that Elvis, the one thing I feel like you do really good at is like, you've just been following stuff to a T. And if you see something like, okay, that right there, I'm just going to follow it to a T and I'm going to do it. So here's what I want. If you're comfortable sharing, dude, this is kind of like raw, like the truth. And if you don't, you can share as much or as little, but like, tell these guys like what the situation you're in right now. Now you just said, okay, guys, he quit his job in July because he knows that he wants to do this full time, needs the time to do it. He's tired of that job. And it doesn't go according to plan. He has the hiccups, he has the distractions, to the point you're selling plasma, you're selling shit on probably Facebook Marketplace, I don't know, or Craigslist.
Yeah.
Probably everything short of prostitution. And if that is the case, we'll talk about that later, but we do not want your girl to hear about that. Totally joking. But no, tell these guys like right now, because it's a little bit easier to talk about because you just landed a monster deal.
Right.
Like, tell these guys the situation, because I know there's some people out there and they're like, well, I just like I only have a couple of clients and I you know,
Right.
and like, what tell these guys, like, just be real. Like, what situation are you in, which you're no longer going to be in, but as of right now you are, or you were until an hour ago.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hold on. Eugene said I think he was selling feet pics.
Man,
that comment wins, dude. That comment wins. Okay, I'm not looking at those comments. Get out of here, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but no, hit me. Like, let's talk about this. This is crazy, because some of the people out there, they don't want to share this because they're like, dude, I'm in a shitty position. I got all this debt. Like, guys, I didn't want to talk about the fact that I was 60K in debt, that I had, 2 car payments, a house payment. Yet I didn't want to admit that stuff. Now it's easy to talk about because I'm not in it. But like, some of you guys are out there watching this and you're like in a version of this. It may not be as bad, it may be worse. I want people to hear like the situation you were in an hour ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be candid. So credit card debt, I'm at $20,000 in credit card debt right now. She hasn't heard that before, so I'm sure that's a shock. But now I'm making some money. We're good. And that's accumulated over the last few months because I've just been putting it towards all of the expenses for building this business. I've got the IRS calling me because I've got a tax privilege transaction license that I signed up for last year because I was doing swag. And so I've got to file for that. And so I need to get that done, but I haven't had the money for it. Yeah, I've got my car, I owe like 13K on it. Yeah, I mean,
and your income was that like $200, right?
$200, yeah, $200. Like, and that was based on a pay per lead deal for my old boss that I've got. So I got pest control lead gens that I've been cranking out, but like the lead, there's like 8 or 9 leads that have been coming in per month. So Yeah, I mean, like my only fallback plan was I've got a stock portfolio that at one point I had like 14K in it, and it's dropped down to like 6K in the last month. And so like that was starting to bleed. And so I'm like, shit, like I'm gonna have to start selling this stock that I wasn't planning on selling right now. And like that's once that's gone, that's it. Like I've got no other choice. So yeah, it came down to today. Like I was either going to close this deal or I was going to sell off half of my portfolio and just to pay the bills. So
Damn, dude. Okay. So how do you walk into a deal that you desperately need? Like you needed that deal and still act like you don't need the deal. Like what was that like? Because I guarantee in every part of your freaking body, you're like, dude, I want this deal. I want this deal. Because like there's so many reasons. I got to prove to myself. I want to prove to Nick. I want to like do all these things. And you still can't act like you're desperate. Like, what was that like? Because again, that's another thing. Some of you guys are still waiting for that first deal. You've gotten deals, but it's been so long, you're desperate. How did you act? How did you pull this off? Because by the way, and we'll get into that a little bit, but guys, he was pitching, he was on a Zoom call pitching the business owner and two basically project managers at the same time for this huge sum of money. Like, how did you do that without coming across desperate? Because I heard you told like he still created urgency, told the business owner like, if we do it today, he kind of did a quick drop down to create urgency. Like, what was that like? Was that pretty nerve wracking, or what was the thought process?
I mean, it was just getting my head in the right space. Like I knew that the way that I set my day up today was going to be extremely important. So I made sure that I got up right on time. I made sure that I got into the gym. I prepped. I went back and watched your the bro close with the handyman dude. I wrote up my own script, my own like script, my own words. I knew exactly the amount I was going to pitch at. I knew all of the numbers, how much I was going to increase their profit and their revenue by. So it was like all in the preparation, all in me getting myself in the right headspace. And like I went on like an hour walk beforehand just so I could like spend some time and kind of meditate a little bit. And so it was just kind of like recognizing, because that was on my mind all day. I was like, all right, I can't come off desperate. Like I'm not going to tell them that I'm going to drop price. Like, you know, if they say no, they don't want to do it, I'm not going to tell them, you know, I'll lower my price for you. Like I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to follow exactly what I've got on my script. And then I was like, whatever happens, happens. Like I was willing to not take the deal, but at the same time, that kind of gave me that kind of calmness to portray it as something that, and I mean, it was something that they wanted. You know, the one of the project managers, the one that actually handles the leads, she was talking about how much she liked him on the call and how much she liked certain factors, like that they're all in one location and stuff like that. So I was like trying to dig that out a little bit so that way I can get them to sell themselves on it and make them realize the value and the leads.
So what like this is what I want. And guys, before we got on, and Elvis, you could ask him and you could DM him and say, is this true or is Nick just feeding us? Like I specifically said, the purpose of our interview today is this. It's not it doesn't have an angle. The angle is if we can provide value to the people watching, then any angle that I want to have, whether it's to get people into the paid group, whether it's to get people more active in this group, to keep coming back, all of those things will work themselves out. But like, I want to figure out like how, and that's like the thing. I feel like if we just went into every relationship, every single interaction with every person, how do I add more value to you than you're ever going to add to me in every interaction we have? Everything else works itself out. So I really, really, really want to get a couple of nuggets out that I think people are thinking, but maybe they won't ask, or maybe that they haven't even thought to ask. And like, what's the difference between going literally 4 years? Let's just call it 4 years. And you like, it's unfathomable, dude. Like, how do you go from 4 years making no money to in the last 3 weeks, in the last month, how many offers have you made?
This was my second one.
Second one. Okay. How many did you make in 2021? Guess.
One
offer in 2021. So you doubled your offers in for the whole year of 2021, you did it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's number one, guys. More offers. That's a pretty big no-brainer. What else? Like, what else is the difference? Like, that's what I want to figure out is like, what the hell's the difference? Like, what is it something that clicked? Is it something that like you're completely, dude, when we talked 4 weeks ago, you were down in the shitter, dude. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Look, what changed, dude? Like you're a completely different person. Like, dude, let's say you were in a shitty spot, dude, like mentally.
Yeah.
So what changed?
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, I think it was the direction. It was the plan, you know, like that's something that I've never had before. You know, it's something that I've never sat down and actually taken. Like, I've always wanted to go so fast, you know, do everything. And it's like, yeah, you got to take massive action, right? But it's like, you kind of have to have some direction with that action, because if not, then you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And it's like, and then when you get done with it, like, I thought I was going to be all happy and set to go after I sold a few websites a few months ago. And then I get off the phone call, and like, I'm building these websites for these people, and it's like ass. I'm like, I don't like, okay, now I did that. Now what? Like, I don't want to do that. You know, that's like, I want to do what I want to do. This isn't going to get me there. So yeah, just having that plan in that direction. I mean, like, that I read one entire book last year, and I finished Think and Grow Rich in like 2.5 weeks, I think, which is like the fastest time I've ever read a book. But it's because I was engaged and I was focused, and I was, I had a plan. I knew exactly what needed to be done, and this process was proven. Like, it's already shown by everybody else that's done it before me. You yourself, like there's nothing else. There's nothing else other than the action that I needed to take. So I figured if that was the missing piece, then I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to follow it exactly to the point that it's trained. I'm not going to stray. I'm not going to do anything different. And I'm just going to see where it takes me. And,
when you like heard about the process and you got in and you're like, okay, here's this process. Nick's obviously I've dropped some of these videos. You're watching me do it. You're seeing other people's testimonials. Like, what was the thing in your head? You're like, yeah, but I'm different because, like, my situation's different because. There had to be something where you thought was there anything where you're like, yeah, but I don't have this, or yeah, but I'm not this, or yeah, but this, where you're like, I know that probably works for them, but not for me. Do you have any of that?
I would say the biggest one would be the leads, like the fact that I wasn't getting, because like the site, these 3 sites that I just sold for the 5,400, they were ranked, but they weren't producing any leads like all of December, November. So I was like pulling my hair out, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And so, yeah, I was like, all the other deals, and like a lot of the deals that people had gotten before me, were from sites that they had organically, but then there's obviously people that have gotten sold with ads too. So yeah, I would say that was like my but was like, yeah, but I'm not getting any leads. So it's like, I can't sell anything, or they're coming in inconsistently. But I was like, I found that when I had faith and when I had trust that I knew my leads were going to come in. I mean, I had the data, I knew where my site stood. I knew based on the numbers that this is what I could expect. And so I just started the process. I just started, prospecting and sending the leads, kind of having that faith, knowing that more would come in, and that it would just work itself out. So
just to clarify, you had existing websites that have been producing sporadically, but not super consistently. So now you're like, okay, I know how to do the ads. I can put those on, get the business owner consistent leads, and I'm not worried about putting that deal together, just wondering if the leads are going to drop, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. 99% of the people listening right now that filled out that survey that was like asking all these questions. And I said in the survey, what's your biggest fear with selling flat fee deals? 99% of people was selling a deal and not being able to produce the results, which is a legitimate thing. But now, okay, if it's slow next month, let's say it gets slow in February, you can use up to half that budget and you know you're going to get, because dude, you just closed that guy off of 15 leads. That's his expectation, is he's going to get 15 leads per month, guys. 15 on 3 sites total, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I was just curious. I kind of already assumed that was the answer, but I was just going to see if there was anything else. That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this, is like, we know the organic's good, right? By the way, did you have GMBs on those before?
I do, but they're not ranking, so it's only coming in through organic.
Dope. Okay, so now you can, you continue to rank those. You can go to the business owner, get additional addresses, so you could feed even more. I mean, there's a ton of options, dude. You're in a really, really good spot with this deal.
Yeah.
And instead of having to deal with 5 clients at 1,000, you're dealing with 1 client at 5,400. So it's going to be super easy to maintain that relationship and just take care of that person.
Yeah, 100%.
So, dude, it's just crazy. So, like, all of last year, you were trying to sell swag, you were trying to sell websites, you were trying to sell SEO, you were trying to sell lead gen, and you made jack shit.
Pretty much.
Come December, you sit down, and I remember we talked, and you wrote down, you took one of these and you wrote down your goals, and then you mapped out a plan, right?
Yep.
And in those goals, you're like, hey, I'm going to get to this selling flat fee. You basically said, I'm going to sell one service, one product, one service, flat fee lead gen.
Yeah.
And now you just went, like, I don't even know what the multiple on 200 times up to 54, like some ridiculous X that you just did.
Short squeeze. Yeah,
dude. So for the people out there that are in a lull, that have had deals and they're just in that lull, maybe they've sold some SEO deals, some website deals, maybe they haven't sold any deals, they're in just this bad spot. Straight up, I'm not on the call, no one's listening. You guys are on a conversation, like, Elvis, what should I do? Like, what's your recommendation? Is it going right down your shit? Tell us.
I would say it's this.
Boom.
It's Think and Grow Rich. I would say, like, and I don't want to be corny or cliche or anything like that, but like, there is, like, I read that book back in like 2018, and like, I didn't take it as seriously, but like, read it and literally apply what it says. Like, just apply it, and you don't even have to completely apply it like 100% every single word that the book says, but like, there's certain, like, the biggest one is making the plan, figuring out exactly the amount of money that you want. Because yeah, like, for the longest time, I was just saying, I want 5K a month, because I want to be able to not have to worry about paying my bills, or I want 10K a month because I want 10K a month, or like, just throwing out arbitrary income goals. And then when I like figured out exactly what I want and why I wanted it, and put like a purpose behind it, and actually kind of became emotionally attached to that goal, then, it just kind of starts to work itself out. And it's not like it's picky, it's anybody can do it. It's if you're a human being, then you've got the same power and the same connection to God, or whatever it is that it is.
So what gave you the confidence to go from selling a couple website deals, making $200 a month, selling plasma, and your goal being, hey, if I can just get to 5K, I'm good. Like, some low ass target, to having the gumption to set a goal of 50K. Like, what didn't that just sound ridiculous, or like, what gave you the confidence to do that?
Yeah, no, it still sounds ridiculous, but like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it.
I don't think it does. I don't think anyone on here listening right now thinks it sounds ridiculous anymore. If you'd have said that yesterday, they'd be like, yeah. How are you going to go from 0 to 50? Now it's like, okay, that's how you're going to do it. You'd only need 9 more of those.
Yeah. No, I would say, honestly, when everybody in the Flat Fee Mastery group had posted their goals, and you kind of talked about it a little bit and kind of gave the direction to figure out that exact amount of money that you want, and figure out the goal, then I was like, all right, kind of sat down and thought about what I wanted, where I wanted to be, because like, me and my girl want to move to Texas, next year. And so like, I had for the longest time this thought in my mind about where I'd be at, the amount of money we're going to be able to afford to spend on certain things. And so I was like, I need to get real, you know, and I need to start doing this, or else it's not going to happen. It's like, it's going to be this time next year, and I'm going to be broke, and we're not going to be able to go and live the life that we want, you know, in the place that we want to live, and drive the cars that we want to drive. And so it's like, I took that responsibility on myself, and started to take it seriously, and stop screwing around so much. So
I just had a thought or a question when I was thinking of that before, when you would set your goals and you're like, okay, I want to get to 5K. You sit down, you're like, you think about it, you never would write it down, but what was your like idea of how you're going to get there? You're like, I want to get to 5K, but like, what was your process? Were you like, I'm going to go post on Facebook, I'm going to go to BNI, I'm going to like, what was your goal? Like, what was your plan to get to 5K?
yeah, I mean, I didn't really have one.
Just like, hopefully deals fall out of the sky, right? There's like, you don't know where the next one's coming from.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna build lead gens, and when the leads start coming in, I'm gonna sell them. Like, that's what I thought. And like the leads I would get sporadic leads, you know, but they would come in,
and then you tell yourself, well, I need to get 30 before I can start selling, right? Just more excuses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I got to stop and so like I changed that, you know, that kind of mindset when leads would come in. And if I got a phone call, or if I saw that a lead would come in, call them right away, grab their details, and then, you know, having that list of, you know, prospects to call was extremely helpful, you know, because that list will prepare you for anytime a lead comes in, you'll have that list. Like I set up Google Sheets on my phone, so that way, even if I was out and about and a lead came in, then I would be able to just hit up that list, start calling from exactly where I was at. That way I could just get the ball rolling. And so that, like, there's a dude that I sent a couple leads to like a week and a half ago, like a week ago, that I haven't talked to him since, because no leads have come in, but like I still did it. And like I just started to go through, you know, the process. So
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that just focusing on one product, one process, is it gave me the confidence to know, okay, I want to get to 100K. Now it's just math, because I was just like you, and I've said this like recently on here, probably 100 times, but like I used to think, okay, well, am I going to post on Facebook? Am I going to go to BNI? Am I going to like ask for referrals? Like I had a sales guy, and he's like, well, who should I call? I'm like, I don't know, just call, like, just call anybody and everybody. But here's what's crazy, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but guys, I guarantee, because I'm going to ask Elvis these questions, he's going to know the answers to these questions, and I bet you don't. So here, let me ask you this. So did you when we did that live, and we talked about setting your goal and then doing 90-day targets, you did that, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you want to get to 50K by the end of 2022, which means that by the end of Q1, what do you need to be at?
12.5.
You need to be at 12.5. See how quick you knew that? What do you need to do this month?
4,400.
Which you just passed, right? And what do you do? What do you need to do per week? How many deals and how much?
One deal a week at 1,100.
One deal a week. So guys, the reason that he just is crushing his goal to be on track for the whole year is to be at 4,500 by the end of January, which he just passed, by the way. And the difference is like, you know exactly what you're going to do. Now, here's my next question. For you to get those type of deals, now you also know what kind of work, right? You have to go and research the niche. You know, you need to set up the campaign. You need to spend a certain amount of money. Like, it's all dialed in now. You just have to follow the process. You're not wondering like, okay, I got 5K this month, but where's it coming from next month? You know, you're not planning on getting a 5K deal next month. You could, but you have it mapped out. So as long as you just keep doing that deal a week and doing everything it takes to get the deal a week, dude, you're going to hit that goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. It's
crazy, bro.
Yeah, like I'm just and like I've got like I did a little corny vision board, you know, of like all the kids that I want, and I'm like, I gotta put some power behind this desire, because it's like, yeah, I want all of that stuff, but it's like, you know, why? And so keeping that in front of me it's helpful, because it keeps my thoughts on track, you know. Like if my mind ever tries to stray, go somewhere else, you know, right back to, no, dude, this is what you want. So start acting in a way that you want that. So
I love that, dude. You know what I did is I've done the vision boards and I've kind of gone digital now, and I just go, dude, this sounds pretty kind of girly. Dude, I went on and got a Pinterest, and
yeah,
I've got just like these boards of these like these mansions, like
yeah,
the style, the freaking like my man cave, my office, my garage, my master bedroom. Like, dude, and honestly, and I'm like just feeling like I want to sit on my ass and like just go on Instagram, I
yeah,
just think about that. And I like it creates that emotion. I'm like, I can picture myself wearing, you guys know me wearing the Versace robe, of course, but wearing that robe, walking through this marble freaking foyer, like it sounds corny, but it's powerful, dude. So I don't think that vision board, like that's just the physical way to do it. Guys, go grab a Pinterest account, go make a freaking board. Like there's all these different things. You can put your cars that you want to buy, your pool that you want to have, your mansion, like the places you want to visit. Like you could have all these boards, and dude, I just look at it like once a day, and it's like this reminder. So when I wake up and I'm tired, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going for. And it just like that visual, it stirs this like emotion within you that like gets you through some of those. Because dude, every day you have these shitty downs and ups. You're like, oh, I'm feeling tired.
yeah,
And you know, I had those today, dude. I got off of a call and I came in here and I was feeling drained, and I'm like, gotta be on point, gotta
yeah.
get my shit done. And I made it a productive hour. But I was thinking I could see that picture in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's like the other thing too is it's like the only way for it to work is if that's what you really want. Like it can't be something that you want because somebody else wants for you, or that's because it's what everybody else has. Like putting a Lambo up. Like if I put a Lambo up there, it wouldn't stir the same
Yeah,
emotion.
it's not your thing.
Like
Yeah.
I got a Shelby GT500 up there because it's like that's what I want. I got a crap ton of like super expensive Legos because it's like that's what I want. Like that's there's like a $1.3 million plot of land that I found on Zillow that I would really, really want. So like all the stuff is stuff that I actually do want, and
Yeah.
you gotta that's kind of that's the only way it's gonna work. So
Yeah, that's cool. I got one more question for you. What was the biggest thing? Because if you watched Eugene, his live we did last week,
yeah,
he said like a couple of the small tweaks that he made that helped him immensely. It was like the live transfer of the leads and just a couple different things. Like, what do you feel like was the biggest thing? Because guys, like I would bet most of you watching this, because you're already in the free group, you already like conceptually know what the process basically overview is, right? We know like the steps you got to go through. It's not in complete detail or just like very, very like the minutia, but like, what is the one thing that like just even a small tweak that you feel like has helped you in refining the process to get this deal? Like, was there one thing that stood out that you maybe before you're like, you were doing it, but you weren't doing it this specific way, or you were doing it, but not doing it correctly? Does that make sense?
yeah. I would say, I mean, the script is really good. Just the process for the final sales call. But I would say this like the smallest, biggest thing would be the lead value calculator. Like not even the fact that it's there, but just like how to use it. Because like before I just thought it was another tool that's there, and it's like, yeah, sure, but like how are you going to know all of these numbers? And so it's like how to ask for their profit margin, or like how to figure out their profit margin, or how to figure out their close rate, or whatever it is, and being able to use that, because it's like such a powerful tool, being able to show them with numbers and make it make sense to them financially, rather than like having to create, because like I did a god awful job at peeling this guy's onion back and like figuring out his why. Like it ended up boiling down to like he had nothing as a kid, and like his family was broke. He's like the first millionaire in his family. So like I kind of found that out, but I kind of like still scratched the surface. He wouldn't really go into it too much. So like I couldn't sell him on that emotion, but like I made it make sense financially, to the point where like I probably could have asked for more. Like I would I have been greedy? Maybe doing that. I don't know. Like that's obviously up for discussion, but yeah, the lead value calculator was insane to be able to use that and leverage what it is that I have to make it make sense for them.
So good news for anyone in here, all that lead value calculator stuff, that's very simple. It's all in the free group. And here's what my thought is on this, Elvis, is like the lead value calculator. I think it's awesome because it shows the business owner, like it allows you to justify your price to them, right? Like no question, right? It's not just like, oh yeah, my fee is $5,400 and it's just out of your ass. Right. It allows you to justify exactly why you chose that number, right? But more importantly, in my opinion, why that lead value calculator is so important is it allows you to have the confidence to ask for that amount of money and know that you're justified in asking for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I was just hanging out with Eugene and a couple other guys Saturday. And I was telling them about my call that I was going to have on today. And I was telling him, because when I pitched the dude, the last time I pitched the dude was like last week. And I pitched him at $2,500 a month, which I'm so glad that didn't go through, because then I would have been losing half my income. But yeah, I was like telling him, I was like, yeah, should I, you think 2,500 sounds good, or and so Eugene was like talking to me, and he's like, dude, you should start at like 5 or even like 7, and then you can always go down from there, if you need to. But even then, just start high, because if they're making that much, then so I give him a lot of credit for that. Because
dude, did it scare you though? Like, because deep down you're like, dude, I'm making $200 a month, and I'm about to ask this cat for $5,400. Like, yeah. Did it kind of scare you a little bit to say that out loud?
Oh yeah. I mean, even to think about it, I'm like all today, I was like, the little voice in my head was saying, they're not going to pay you $5,400 per month. Like they're probably used to paying, a couple $1,000s on marketing, all of these little lies that your mind likes to tell itself. And, trying to psych yourself out and, make it think that you're not going to be able to do this. But I was like, no, I was like, screw it. I'm going to pitch it out there. I'm going to throw it out there. And so, yeah. I mean, like, and when I pitched it too, I didn't like build it up. I wasn't like, all right, so, here we go. And it's going to be $1,350 per week. I just kind of went over it. I was like, so this is what we do. We get you guys set up on a, 3-month contract. At the end of those 3 months, if you guys are kicking ass, then my intention is to roll you guys into another year. So my price is $1,500 a week. I told you I've got another company set up at 5. So if you guys can move forward today, then I could do it for $1,350 a week. We'll get you guys set up, get the forwarding set up, and we'll be good to go. And so it wasn't even like a 1-call close. They said that they were going to call me back within like 30 minutes. So I still got that at least, rather than like, oh, we'll call you back tomorrow.
And they called you back in how many minutes?
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what always happens. They say they're going to call you tomorrow. They know within 30 seconds of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And you can call them out on that. But dude, and I just wanted to hit home the point of, guys, if it's a big deal, and I said this, I'll say this 1,000 more times. If it's a big deal to you, it's a big deal to them. And so sometimes you just have to freaking nut up. Like, that's why I think the lead value calculator is so important, because it still spooked you a little bit, but if you didn't know that price was justified, you would have never said that price, and you would have lost that on probably at least half of that money.
Yeah.
Think about it. A couple of weeks ago, you did a pitch for that same site, and you asked for half that.
Yeah. Or last week,
guys. And then my last question, because I want to let people ask a couple questions. How hard was that close? $5,400 close. A guarantee of $16,000, whatever, because you have at least a 3-month contract. How hard was the actual close?
I mean, the challenge was in the preparation, honestly. Like the close.
Yeah, no. I know that. I like, so, but the Zoom close, that last one we all get excited and worried about. Yeah. How hard was that? Like, did you even feel like you had to pitch much on that?
No, I mean, they kind of already knew everything, at that point. They had a few questions, obviously. The freaking owner didn't even get a chance to watch the screencast because he's super busy. Like the dude is freaking ordering fast food on the Zoom call. He was driving at the same time, so it was like so many red flags, that isn't taught, but like the Zoom itself was, I mean, I was obviously nervous beforehand because like, I feel like that's natural, but yeah, they're on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as difficulty, like a 2.5.
Isn't that shocking though? A month ago, you would have probably thought, dude, if I close a $5,400 a month deal, it's going to be such a hard sale. And you got on today and you basically got the credit card.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I didn't have to overcome any objections,
Well,
like,
that's because you already overcame them.
right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting
Like
at.
I didn't have to, but like, yeah, the sales that I'm used to, they would give me, throw something at me and then you'd have to come around real quick and be tactful and, say something. So it's like, I didn't have to do any of that, it was just sticking to the script and,
Dude, how much more like emotionally just calming is it to know that you don't have to get on and do this hard close? It's already closed. Like you might have to answer some questions. Like to me, it allows me to get on relaxed. And I tell them straight up, like, look, I'm not here to hard close you. I'm not here to have a big pitch. I just want to find out if it's going to be a good fit. We go through it and that's how I feel. And that's it. And then it's not, because before I used to do the same thing. I'd get all pumped up. I'm like, I'm going to get this deal. I'm going to get this deal. I'm going to get this deal. Grant Cardone, this, that, one-liners, comebacks, overcome objection, go for the close. And it's like, dude, just stop. Just close that bitch before you even get on the phone.
Yeah.
Shit, man, this is good. This process is good, bro. But the point is this, dude. You don't have, as we've talked about, you don't have to follow. We know exactly what works, right? It's been proved. It's been proven. We know that if you get somebody on the Zoom close, you have a better chance than if you don't. If you get somebody at a computer, you have a better chance than if you don't. If they watch the screencast, they have a better chance. But if you do the job with the leads and you live transfer them and you do all that, you don't have to even do all that stuff correctly because sometimes it's just not going to happen. Now, if you want to go from 25 or you're a 50% closer right now from the last couple of deals, you want to go from 50% to 85%, you got to make sure that you tighten those up. But that's what's crazy is like you just closed the biggest deal I've heard of in a flat fee setting, like a flat fee lead gen deal. Yeah. Shout out to Borhan. Time to freaking got a little competition going here. And Eugene, yeah, baby. And Eugene, now you're gonna be talking mad shit to him. But you did that and literally messed up 2 or 3 of the things because of things you couldn't control. Do your best to stay on that line, but just understand it's not going to be perfect and that you just prove it. The leads did the selling. You don't need to be that good of a salesman. Yeah. The leads did the heavy lifting. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And it wasn't even the lead. I didn't even send the leads to the business owner. It was his project manager that handles the leads.
You text me and you're like, bro, should I be worried? I was like, I would definitely get them to the business owner. Yeah. But it just didn't work out. That's not how he rolls. And the point is, don't overthink it. Take action. Try to follow the process the best you can, knowing that's your best percentage of closing. But the leads, if you do that part correctly, you can mess up a lot of other stuff. And you did all the other things correctly as well.
Yeah. So.
Nope. Cool. Okay. I want to see, does anybody have any questions for my man Elvis really quick before we end this? I'm going to read through a couple of these comments. Like for me, dude, the crazy part to me is just literally like what you've said over and over is just getting clear about what you want and what your goals are and setting a damn map, like creating a map to get there and then having a process that you're confident in to get there, right? And guys, just so you know, I've said this before, I'll say this again. You guys there's enough information in the free group that you guys can close deals. Now, are you going to get there faster? If you have the whole thing, yeah, of course you are. That's why you pay for it. But for some of you guys that are like, oh, I don't know, like here we go. I'm not telling you need to buy my shit. There's enough nuggets in there. There's enough videos. The lead value calculator, one of the things you said is the best thing. That's already in there. That's free, baby. That is free. But 99% of people are not using it because it works for everybody else, but it doesn't work for me. It works for Nick, but it doesn't work for me. It's like, okay, well, now it works for Elvis, and Elvis thought the same thing 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, honestly, and that brings up a great point that I was even thinking about because like before I signed up, I was like, I'm just going to go through all of the videos that you've got in the free training, and I'm just going to dissect it and come up with the process itself. And just like, that was my plan. That was what I was going to do. And I
You
was,
cheap ass.
yeah, I was like, I'm going to scrape all this shit, and get away with that. But then when I signed up, and like the day afterwards, and I was going for one of my walks, and I was like, you know what? I was like, it makes sense why you pay for something like that, because you don't value it if it's free. It's just like a thing with humans, is that like you don't value it if it's free. And I was telling my buddies, like Eugene and a couple other ones, I was like, I'm getting in the mindset of like, money is just the transition of value. Like it's nothing other than that. And everybody values different things. And it's like, if you're spending money on something, you're going to value it, and you're going to actually utilize it, because you gave up something that you value, and you get something of value back. And so it's the interaction, the transaction is going to work so much better like that, because that's just the way that Eugene will get a kick out of this one, but it's just human nature, man.
Yeah, dude,
So,
you would not have, I promise you, you wouldn't be right here without it, because it wouldn't have forced you, because
right.
it stung, dude. You're like, dude, I'm already in debt, and I got
Yeah.
this and that. And yeah, it's like, it made no sense, but it stung enough that you're like, dude, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So that's the whole purpose. Now you've gone through the training, you've gone through it probably multiple times. You've taken action, you got the vision board, you got mapped out, like, and now you're going to do some crazy shit in 2022, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, let's go through a couple of these. Joseph Park, we'll start. Okay, here we go. Let's go up a little bit. So let's see. Lexi says, wow, really glad I'm on live today. This is really resonating. Yeah, I hope that helps, Lexi. I know that like this speaks to me even where I'm at, and it speaks, I think in one aspect or another, I think this speaks to everybody, but especially the people that are like, shit, I've tried all this. I haven't had this success I wanted. Maybe I've been in a dark place and it's time to get out. Like here's your example right here. And then of course, comment of the whole stream, Eugene, I think he was selling feet pics. That's amazing. Joseph Park says, big win, brother. Liam says, yeah, Elvis, with a nice little exclamation point. Nice, thank you, Liam. Russ says, knowing, oh, this is when we're going over your numbers. He says, knows his numbers, so fucking impressive. Yes, it is. Eugene says, damn, I need to make my vision board fancier. Come on, bro, get on the Pinterest. All right, let's jump ahead a little bit. Chris says, knowing your numbers and following the steps to a T. So simple, but yet so profound at the same time. 100,000%, dude. It's crazy when you have that clarity, how much confidence it gives you. Like, I know I want to get to $1 million a month, but like when I sat down and mapped that out right before the first year, I'm like, dude, this is achievable. I know that I personally, this month, I need to do X amount of money per month so that next month I can jump up another amount and another amount, and I can be on track to hitting it. And it makes it so much more digestible. So if you guys haven't set your goals and mapped them out, you're losing money. Promise you that. Okay. Karim says, hey Elvis, congrats. I knew you could do it, and I closed it, brother. So he just closed another one.
Oh yeah.
He says, I just closed another $1,500 a month deal. Hell yeah. I didn't even know this was in the pipe, Karim. Look at this guy.
He messaged me beforehand. He was like, wish me luck, bro. And I was like, you got it.
Another guy, Karim, if you haven't seen his interview, just a quick plug for that. Another guy, you two guys, between the two of these guys, they went damn near 7 years without getting the deal. He was 3 years, and he got his first deal on like the 30th. And now we're less than 2 weeks later, about 2 weeks, he's got his second deal. So two deals in 2 weeks, or within basically a 6 week period, 5 week period, and waited 3 years before that because he's following a process. He has his goals lined out, his goals mapped out. Hell yeah, Karim. I'll reach out to you and find out the details on that. And I better see a damn post in here so everyone can know. And then Eugene says flat fee mastery trumps Grant Cardone. Yes, sir, baby. I actually do like Grant Cardone. Just have to take him in doses. And then Kip says, good job, Elvis. So guys, this has been freaking dope. I like, dude, Elvis, I literally hit him up like an hour ago, and I was like, bro, we're doing an interview. I like to catch people, just to wrap up, I like to catch people right after they hit the deal, because tell everyone like what is the feeling like as soon as you got the call. This is what, like, I live for this. And you guys that are in Flat Fee Mastery know that we did the live stream. It was called Moments. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Those moments, exhausted but satisfied. That was the name of the stream.
Yeah.
Those are the moments I freaking live for, because you can literally relive them over and over and over again, and they don't diminish with time. They only, like, they get better.
Yeah.
What was that feeling that you had when he called you back and like, yo, we're gonna do it? Like, just try and describe that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really describe it. It's just like, I guess the closest you can get is just like you vibrate, you know, you just, you for a very, very short period of time, your body's vibrations just goes to another level. And you're just like, you know, you got a huge smile on your face. You're like trying to keep it together because you're not like celebrating on the phone with them just yet. But man, roller coaster emotions, like relief. Man, I shed a couple of tears. So like,
That's dope, dude.
Crazy, you can't get it anywhere else, other than through achievement. So
have you, dude, straight up, we're gonna take a slight twist here. Have you done drugs before?
Yes.
Okay. I've drank alcohol a few times.
Right.
How does it compare to, like, this is super random, but like, okay, there's like the high of drugs, which I'd tell you guys, like, I think by now, I'm not bullshitting you. I tell you, what does that compare like to like something like that? Like, is there any comparison?
Yeah, like it's like cannabis. I use it regularly. And it's like, that's cool, but like that just helps me focus and like keep my mind straight. Like, it's not something like meth, I've never done meth. Sorry, like, I'm not trying to impose that, but I've done psychedelics, and nothing really compares to that, because that's a completely different wavelength. But I mean, it's not something that you could feel without getting freaking freaking shooting yourself up. I'm sure that feels the same, but like, why would you do that? Because like, you get nothing out of it. Now I get money,
Yeah, well, and here's my thought. Like, if you go and think about last time you took a hit, right, of your sativa or whatever the hell, is that the one that's the up or whatever?
Yeah, the energetic one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, like, it's not like you're thinking back on that smiling like, oh, that was so dope. Like, I'm gonna like go to sleep thinking about like this right here. You will literally, that feeling you just described, you will be able to relive that moment for the rest of your life, bro. It's wild. Like, and the bigger that those, like, so now when you hit 50K, if you thought that moment was special, dude, wait till you hit 50K, dude. Like, it will be the most crazy feeling ever.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm completely prepared for everything that needs to happen to get there. But yeah, I'm pumped.
Love it, dude. I love it. All right. So if I offended anyone, good. Get the hell off. No, I'm just curious. Like, that's my whole thing, is like, dude, let's spend our lives building this Rolodex of these exhausted but satisfied moments that you get to keep with you. No one can take them. Time does not take them. You can relive over and over and over again. And it's not like drugs where like there's this negative downside. There's only upside. There's like, it's only good. Like, what a goal to just have this Rolodex of these moments. Dude, I have moments like that, like I talked about in that stream, where, dude, I'll relive these moments multiple times a month. And it's like, I just am experiencing it for the first time. It's crazy. It's kind of like out there a little bit, the concept. Yeah. But once you've experienced it, you're like, I know exactly, like, now you got a taste of what that's like, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, like, when I closed my first website deal last year, like, I kind of had a similar moment, but that was just because I had something that like I achieved. But like, it still hasn't completely settled in yet, like I've been so used to having to freaking scrape by, for the last 6 months, that like, I feel like I'm going to be able to relive that moment when I'm like, paying the bills and paying off the debts and stuff like that, like being able to actually see, all right, this what I just did is causing this, and I'm now able to do these certain things because of it. So Yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, I'm proud of you, bro. Like straight up. I've been waiting for this. I knew it was coming. And when you called me, I was
Late. It's supposed to be at the end of last month, but
dude,
I made up for it.
I'm probably more excited that I know you're excited. I'm excited for you, bro, because I just remember when we talked and like, dude, think about it from my perspective. If I didn't believe in this shit, this program, like knowing what situation you were in, do you think I would have like, what a dick move? I'm like, bro, I know you're in debt, but you should buy my shit. And by the way, it sucks. Like, obviously, I had no doubt. Like, and I'm not, I have to live with that shit. So
Right.
I knew you're gonna pull it off, bro. Like, I'm not surprised. Am I surprised that it's freaking $5,400? Hell yeah, I am. But I'm not surprised that you're doing this. Like, this is, I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
And now it's just rinse and repeat, baby. Last thing though, Eugene says, grinding. Oh, he just had a comment. He said, grinding for 4 years, back against the wall and hitting a game-winning touchdown. Elvis for the win, dude. That is it, bro. We should have put a picture of, yeah, I put the picture of Tiger because I thought about like all the shit he went through. And then in 2018 or 19, when he came back and won that tournament, like that's the moment. Like he did it, and it's been 4 freaking years. So hats off. Thanks for your time, bro. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.
See you, dude.